Hey, so I'm happy to be here today talking to you about the newest feature that I've been working on for Ymir. So that feature is going to come out in three phases, but phase one is ready to go. So I'm happy to be able to start talking about it today and show you what it is. So the overall what I'm overall building with Ymir is the capability for you to configure your CloudFront uh, CDN as an image optimizing CDN. So I'm going to show you how to do that right away and deploy, and then we will talk more about everything around it as this is happening. So to turn this feature on is super simple. You just have to go in your ymir.yaml file, and I already pre-populated it, but you just need to add this CDN option called process images, and then you want to set it to true. And you save your changes, and then you deploy again. So what this will do is this will tell Ymir during deployment to make sure that your CloudFront distribution is configured with a Lambda at edge function that will optimize your images. So I mentioned that this is a phase one of multiple phases for this feature. The reason why this feature came to be is because one of the more complex elements of running WordPress on serverless on Lambda is the media library. So the media library got you don't notice it, but I had to do a lot of work to make it behave transparently to you. But it messes up a lot of media library plugins. And true talking to customers, most of the people that wanted a media library plugin, they used it for image optimization for their page speed score. And obviously that didn't work on serverless, but that doesn't mean that you can't have that. And if that's the main reason you have these plugins, or do you pay for these plugins, well, why don't I just give you that capability? So that's what the phase one is about. So phase one basically is we'll configure your CloudFront distribution, we'll add the Lambda at edge function, and the Lambda at edge function will do very simple things. So let's say you have a GIF image. If it's not animated, it will convert it to a PNG. And then even further than that, I'll detect whether the browser that's making the request for the image supports WebP, and it will convert that image to WebP. So that's usually, if Google complains, that's usually the number one complaint. They're like, we want WebP images. WordPress is considering making it a default as well. So as a first step, the image CDN just does that. So it doesn't really matter for the rest. It will just do those optimizations. You don't have to do anything. There's actually nothing on the plugin side. It's completely done in your AWS infrastructure. So I forgot to even check the original image, but we can do that because right now what happens is that if I refresh here, my CloudFront distribution is deploying. That takes a few minutes to do. So we can still see the old image, I hope. So if I do a refresh here, oh, yeah, okay, so it's still a JPEG, excellent. So you can see that the image is a JPEG. If you hadn't noticed, it's a wonderful cardboard picture that I'm using as a demo. So if we refresh again, so you can see that our size is 534 kilobytes. This is the original image. It's not resized. So right now it's still sending the CloudFront distribution, still behaving the same way as it does before. So I'm going to take the time. So this takes a few minutes. So I'll talk a bit about what else is coming. I'm sorry. And so the main reason for this feature was exactly because media library plugins, most people want to optimize, and really we can just do, if you're familiar with some of the CDN offerings like Bunny CDN, they offer that. It costs $9.50 per site. So this is kind of a, it might cost you probably will cost you less than $9 to have this running on your CloudFront distribution. And if you're using another plugin, I think WP Rocket, but a lot of them have an image CDN upsell or like offering that they offer you. So this just lets you like forget about this. So it's really handy, and it's also just the first step. So that, as I said, it's a first step. So my inspiration for this feature is Human Made. The agency has this product called not this product, but this project called Tachyon, which is inspired by Photon, similar name, which is the Jetpack automatic CDN. So what this actually image CDN does is it's even more powerful. Like, it will resize your images, it will do a whole bunch of other things if you let it do it. So the Tachyon has a Tachyon plugin, and it's basically a more or less a copy of the Photon code from Jetpack, but it lets you, instead of having different image dimensions, like if we had like a large image, it would be like dash and then the dimensions of the image. They get rid of all of that, and all the redimensioning happens via CloudFront. So that's the inspiration. The implementation is different. I'm going to be writing up about it, so if you're curious about that. But really, that's the idea, is that over time, your image CDN that Ymir configures will just handle all of that. So this handling of the dimensions and cropping and all this extra stuff is coming in the next phase of this feature release, which will involve the Ymir plugin. Once that happens, now you won't even get the different sizes. They'll all be handled by the content delivery network. And so it'll be super transparent, super fast, because everything on a CDN is faster than if it hits the server. So it's always better to do that. And then the next phase after that is going to be just generating the image sizes in the first place. So most of us don't actually need WordPress to create, let's say you have 10 different image sizes configured. You don't actually need WordPress to do that. You really just need the original image, and that's what you care about. So all these things are going to roll out slowly, and I'm going to be doing videos about those specific features, but I'm really excited. I've had this on my mind for a long time. It's been one of the common complaints, not necessarily complaints, but people don't want their PageSpeed scores to be bad. So obviously, for that to happen, we need the images to get optimized some way. And since serverless isn't really a good way to handle that, just because a lot of that kind of processing image manipulation is just slower on Lambda than it is on a server. So because of that, I'm getting a bit into details, so I won't get too much, but basically your images aren't on Lambda, so they need to be downloaded locally, modified, resized, cropped, and then sent back to S3. That's just slower than if you do it at the CDN level. So we're going to reload the page. It's very likely that this isn't going to work because everything's cached. So what I'm going to do is we're going to try to clear the cache environment and validate cache. That's why one of the two hardest problems in computer science is cache invalidation. So that's something to keep in mind if you're using it for the first time. If it doesn't kick in right away, it's probably just because your image is already cached. All right, so this is a lot slower, so that's excellent. So you notice you notice right now the size is a lot smaller, so it's 380 kilobytes versus 500 something. Before, it's a bit slower. That's always going to be the case. That's the first time the image gets created. It's always going to be slower, but the good thing with that is it just happens once, and then after that, it's cached for a year. So you shouldn't worry too much about the slowness on the first load, because after that, I'm sorry again. After that, you're gonna have a super speedy image. It's optimized, so it's really great. So as you saw, it's as simple as just adding that option in your Ymir configuration file, redeploying, and waiting a few minutes for your CloudFront to update, and you're good. You now have WebP optimized images for all your WordPress images. So all the ones you had before, all the ones that are going to come in the future. So it's great for that. So I hope you enjoy, and I look forward to seeing you use it.